Hello all. Today I am here with Mr. Phiroze Palkhivala uncle. So the best thing I would say that he has been practicing law for past 25 and plus years. But something that excited me more about him is his cycle tour, All India cycle tour. And yes, you heard me right. He is on two wheels for past 2 years, and we have no idea how long it will take him to cover entire India. So, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm absolutely on top of the world.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Every day is a marvel for me. So I feel now that I'm living my life.
Right. So, when I think about law and cycling, they're two different things. So, how did you come up with cycling? When did you start cycling?
So I've been cycling ever since I was a young boy, but about 12 years, 15 years ago, I decided to stop using my car and started using my bicycle to go to court. And that was a huge shift and a marvelous shift. I enjoyed it so much, even though I was in Mumbai traffic, all that. It didn't really matter because I just felt so good cycling to court. No pollution, no noise. You're physically very active by the time you reach court. You're mentally very active. So it was just marvelous. So I started doing that, and then in 2015, I went on my first international bicycle tour. So I went to Taiwan. I looked up a lot on the net, and I found that people are doing long distance bicycle touring. So I made my first trip to Taiwan because I thought that it's an advanced country. I would get whatever I wanted out there. And once you do a bicycle tour like that, it was just about 21 days. But once you do that, you are just stuck, and I was stuck. So
Right.
then I decided that if I travel, this is the way I want to travel. So then the next year I did central Iran, and then the year after that I did Turkey and Georgia. I'd carry my bicycle on the plane and then tour the whole country and come back. And so that's how I started bicycle touring. And then I was planning a trip on across the entire western coast of the US, from Canada, Vancouver to San Diego. And then this corona thing
Thing
came up.
happened, yes.
So I couldn't. And I don't believe in the vaccine and all that, so I haven't. So I thought that, I don't know when I'll get a visa to go abroad again. So I said, might as well see my own country.
Right.
And that's how I started. And I told everybody in court that I'd be out for a year and I'd be back. But then once I started, I said, my God, this is the life. What am I doing?
Right.
Going to court and every day that same sort of rat race. So now I think I'm a full-time traveler. I
Right.
don't want to go back. I
Back.
just want to enjoy my.
Right. So when you're saying all of this, the way you said it seemed. I mean, when you're saying something, it's all you made it look very easy, but I'm sure it's not at all easy. So I'll just break it a bit. When you said you used to go to the court on cycle, right? So an high court advocate going on cycle, how did the other lawyers respond to your initiative?
Yeah, so actually I did have that initially. People were saying, "Hey, you're coming on a cycle, etc." And my reply was, "Of course, I'm coming on a bicycle because I have brains. I said that I'm enjoying it so much, and if you just think about it, you'll want to do the same." So initially, people did feel that way, and then they started appreciating it. So I started getting a lot of, oh gosh, even we want to do it, even we want to do it, but we are scared of the traffic, but we are scared. The buts keep coming up, but then overall there was a lot of appreciation for it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned your Taiwan trip. So, cycling in Mumbai and directly, planning Taiwan. So, what was the preparation that you did, like practicing long distance cycling, or you directly went to Taiwan?
No, so when I went to Taiwan, I did practice a bit because that time I didn't know what bicycle touring involved really. One big sort of input that I got was from the net. I started seeing videos of people who were doing long distance bicycling, etc. So I got to learn a lot from that, and it also enthuses you when you see the marvelous places that they go to and all that. It really makes you feel enthused to do it yourself. And then I did a lot of thinking, what I would need, etc. but there is no substitute for experience.
Right.
So I didn't have a tent or anything. I went to Taiwan and I bought my tent, I bought my sleeping mat, etc. in Taiwan. So that time I was very raw. When I look at it from today, now today I feel like I can just go anywhere, do anything. I know what I'm doing.
Right, right. So the experience in Taiwan helped you to, sort of prepare for the All India tour, right? You can say
Yes,
so.
the experience in Taiwan, Iran, Turkey, Georgia, all
Right.
those helped. Yeah.
So when we think about Taiwan, Georgia, and all the places, it was a fixed span. I would say that you had some months in your hands or something. So when it came to All India tour, it was indefinite tour, right?
Yes.
So how did you like? Did you make a checklist of what things would you need? The challenges. There would be definitely some challenges. So. How did you pre-plan all this? What things I need and what
Yeah,
should I
so
do?
you are absolutely right. For a limited period tour and an indefinite tour are very, very different things, completely different things. So that's why when I'm on this tour, I'm carrying the maximum luggage. What I would call I'm the heaviest that I've ever been in on any tour, because you have to keep your clothes, etc. for summer, winter, monsoon, everything. And so I spent a lot of time making checklists, seeing what I would really require, what I wouldn't require, and trying to keep myself as light as possible. I feel that I'm still extremely heavy compared to what I should be. But the good part is that I just feel that climbing mountains, etc., becomes that much more difficult, but I become that much stronger.
Stronger.
So
I think this is a very positive perspective to look at those things also. When you're light, it's okay. If you're heavy, it still gives you some other thing.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think we should also have that kind of a perspective in every situation. I think in the life,
I
where
believe so.
whatever comes, we have to welcome it in this or that way, and
Yes,
you
yes.
get some other thing. Good. So when you started, was there any point where you felt, oh my God, I have started this, but looks a little difficult, or I have no idea what is going to happen next? Or how did you welcome each new day in, right from you started this All India tour?
Yeah, so there was no apprehension, never. Because I'd done previous tours, and even when I went on the previous tours, there was no apprehension. There was always that anticipation, that joy, that feeling that this is just marvelous. I'm going into something that I really love. So no apprehension at all. And then once you are into the tour, then every day is just a marvel. You get up and you don't know what will come your way, what to expect, and that's the beauty of it.
Right. So being Mumbaikars, we are not very, familiar with extreme weathers. So you started off with north. I would say then, what were the challenges? How was the temperature? How did you manage over there also, like acclimatizing, all that cold thing? How
Yes.
was that experience
So
there?
I think what I've realized over this is that the body is a remarkably intelligent being. It's not just a physical thing. It's a highly intelligent thing. And and I kept exposing myself to whatever weather I was in. I tried to avoid saying, it's too hot, I won't cycle today, or I won't go out. I tried to avoid that. So, like in Punjab, I was cycling in 46 degrees, where people were saying that, don't, you'll get sunstroke and this, that, and the other. And I said, no, let my body learn. And it does learn. It does learn.
Right.
So I would cycle in the extreme heat, then I would bathe outside, have cold water baths, and the body would be shivering. It learns. Then when I went further north, Himachal and then Ladakh, Kashmir, it became extremely cold. And let the body learn, and it does learn. So the body keeps adapting. It's the mind that we have to control. And when we control the mind, the body will just do whatever the mind wants it to do. So immediately you feel, no, I can't do this. The body will say, I won't do
I
this.
won't do this.
And when the mind says, come on, let's do it, the body says, I'm game.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So this was about your cycling, like cycling in extreme weather. But of course, I know that you're not sleeping in any place or any shelter. So you have your own things with you.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about how do you sleep? How do you stay at a place, and what is all your setup?
Yeah, so I have the option. I have my tent, etc., which I used to use, but then I started becoming lazy. And as you become more accustomed to being out in nature, etc., I felt the need to open my tent less and less. So I started I'd put out a plastic sheet at the bottom, then I'd put out my sleeping mat and my sleeping bag, and just go to sleep in the open.
In the open.
Yeah, the advantage of sleeping in the open is that you can see the stars, you can see the moon, and when you're really tired, you look into the night sky and then your eyes close and you go to sleep, and that's the most beautiful sort of way to go to sleep. And then when I went into the colder weathers, I required this. I required to get my. So I think I got it from Mumbai, the -2 degrees sleeping bag, and when it became very cold, I sometimes had to cover myself even with plastic, and then sometimes I would use my tent. So I'd see if it's very windy or if the tent was easily openable, then I would use my tent. So I use my tent maybe about 20% of the time.
Okay, 80% it is in the wild.
Yeah, just sleeping outside. Yeah.
Right. So, like usually when we sleep at home, we put locks and all this. So, did the thought of some wild animal coming across or something, did that hit you ever?
No. Because I have tremendous faith in the Divine Mother, who's been with me through my life.
Yes.
And I mean, this trip also, I just feel like I'm just traveling like a child.
Yeah.
And the mother is looking after everything.
And you're learning each and every day.
Yeah. So she does look after everything. So there have been many times when the locals tell me, no, you can't sleep here. There'll be some leopard and there'll be wild boars and all sorts of things.
Right.
And I just sleep and I say, Ma, you look after everything, and she just looks after everything. So I don't bother about that.
Now I think there's the trend going in jungle. Now the leopard is telling the kids that, oh, now Phiroze sir is going to sleep here.
Don't disturb him.
Yeah, maybe. So I remember you telling me the full experience that you had in the forest over here. So would you like to share that? It was very interesting.
Yeah, so here I've been staying in the just by the edge of the forest here at Changad. I put up my tent and I've been staying out for about 22 days. 3 weeks, over 3 weeks. And there was this one bull who was there, and I love animals. So I went and patted it, and we became good friends. And then he started becoming a bit too friendly, and he would keep while I was cooking my food, he'd come inquiring and poke his nose in, etc. And then he would stay around the tent only, and at night he would munch loudly on the grass, etc. And then one day I cooked my pot of mung, and a local boy came and he wanted to see my bicycle. So I said, I'll uncover the bicycle. I just covered it with a plastic sheet because it keeps raining. So I said, I'll uncover it. So I put the mung down on something and I went to uncover it. And he looked behind me and he said, Are. The bull was eating my mung from my pot. Yeah. So I said, oh no, and I was really hungry. And I said, my gosh, I'm not going to give this mung to the bull, because if I give it to it, he'll get into a bad habit and he'll just keep coming. And I don't like to throw away food. And I was very hungry. I said, let me see what happens if I share my food with the bull.
Yeah.
So even though he's eaten from it, I ate it. And absolutely no problem at all.
All fit and fine.
Yeah. So it was wonderful.
Right. So as you mentioned, you had your one pot meal.
Yeah.
So usually, like we see, right? We go to office, we're very tired. We feel good if someone cooks for us and all.
Yeah.
After traveling for many kilometers, like the times when we are very, very hungry. So how do you manage? Is it like every time you cook, or you also have some small snacks with you, or how do you manage your hunger?
So normally when food is available, like in Himachal, in Ladakh, often the food is not available only. So then you have to cook every time. But I sometimes eat outside. I sometimes cook my own food, and I think I've just developed this sense that if I get food, I get it. If I don't get food, I don't eat. So there are many times when I end up very tired, and I feel that I just can't cook now. I'll just go to sleep. So my meals are very variable. Sometimes I eat 3 meals a day. Sometimes I eat 1 meal a day.
Okay.
So whenever I get it, I eat it. If it's not there, I've trained my mind to say it's fine, go to sleep.
Right. So we spoke about the residents, we spoke about the food. So one more essential thing that we all require is hygienic washrooms, I would say.
Yeah.
That it's a need of every person. So when you're across the country, there are different forests, mountains, sometimes the town areas and also, how do you find your perfect washrooms?
Yeah, so I have hundreds of acres of washroom. So that's a beautiful thing. And nature is so lovely. You can just go out into nature, sit anywhere and do your stuff. And I really like it that way. It's very convenient. I just carry a bottle of water with me, and I just use nature.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, do you have anything on your plan? For example, today I will cover these many kilometers or that many kilometers, or what is your average kilometers per day?
So I don't have any such plan. My plan is only to live in joy. So that is my major plan. My main plan, and then the kilometers fit in. So there are times when on a flat surface, I will do over 100 kilometers, sometimes 115 kilometers. Hey, come here.
Hey, Chawal.
That's Chawal the dog, I think.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
might be
see
able
him.
to see him. He's growling. You will.
He's very sweet.
Yeah.
Come here, Chawal. Here.
Chawal.
He's wagging his tail and smiling. Oh, there's another
there's
dog there.
another
That's
dog.
why. So sometimes in the plains, it can become very long also like that. And in the mountains, there can be times when I do just 5-8 kilometers a day. When I was climbing the high passes of Ladakh, I remember in a whole day I would manage 9 kilometers because my lungs were just on fire because of the altitude, and it was. Yeah, so, and sometimes I just don't want to. I'll meet somebody nice like you and we'll sit and talk, and then I don't want to. I may have done 2 kilometers in that day.
Right.
So there's no, I put no
Boundaries or some restrictions.
or goals.
Goals, right?
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, you sometimes visit places, sometimes you take a halt, something like this. But I've observed the thing that you always connect with people. You have that aura, positivity, but you have that willingness to talk to others and all. So I've observed one more thing. So like right now also 3 days I've spent with you and I don't feel like leaving you.
See,
In case of you, you have traveled across different cities. You have come across people who are very nice and kind to you also. So when it comes to getting attached to a particular place or a particular person, how do you manage to leave it and then move further? Sometimes that also becomes a difficult task.
Definitely, that's one thing that I have to be careful about, just not to be attached to anything. And I've tried to make it a principle in my life, because I've realized that the source of all unhappiness is basically attachment. So I've tried to, I think true love is a love without attachment. And I feel that I should really love every being and everything around me in the truest form, and that is without attachment.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to attachment and detachment thing, when it comes to our own family, we are very much attached to it, and sometimes it takes a lot to like physically get away from them, because by heart we're always connected. Yeah, we do agree, we say so, but your decision of traveling the entire India, how was that received by your family? We would like to know that as
So
well.
I'm actually, again I say, it's the mother's grace that I've been extremely lucky on that count. My wife has been completely supportive, and in fact she said that she knew that I was really longing to be on the road. So she said that if you want to go, when the second wave of corona had not started, first wave were over and the courts were reopening, she's the one who said that if you really want to do this, then do it now. If you go back to court, you will not be able to. Yeah, so I'm very grateful to her, and both my children have also accepted it very well. In fact, they're quite excited, I think.
About the entire journey. So this was regarding the support that they provided you, but now you're already on the journey for 2 years, right? So it's not that you have left your family behind, because I've seen that you're always in touch with them. So how do you balance your own individuality, your individual goals from your life, as well as the family? How do you manage that balance?
So when there is this sort of feeling that the family is supportive, and you are free. I think that is the most important thing, and that is something that I'm very grateful to my family for giving me this feeling that I am free. You know, go. You don't. I don't have to think that, oh, will he? What is he feeling? And each member of the family is busy in their own way also. So I have a tremendous feeling of freedom, which I really appreciate.
Right. So when it comes to keeping in touch with them, so how often are you in touch with them, or how often do you tell them about your journey, and how do you tell them?
Actually, it's not very often at all. On the phone also, it's not very often at all. Sometimes the WhatsApp messages. I think my wife also sees my Instagram posting, and I keep a detailed diary of every day, and that is the most detailed sort of thing that I keep. And at the end of every month, I send it. It's kept on my phone. My diary is kept on my phone, and at the end of every month, I email it to my family and to my brother and mother, etc. Brothers and mother, so they all get it. Two things. One is that I'm happy that they love to read it, so
Right.
they get to know the real sort of details of what I've been doing. And secondly, then it remains on the net. So even if I lose my phone or something like that,
It's always
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Right. So, like thinking about all of this, there's one more question which I had. Budget planning. So when it comes to your journey, there's no fixed plan for that. But when you think that you have to spend many more months or years, how do you plan your budget?
Yeah, so actually, I'm really bad at planning budgets, and I don't plan budgets. But again, as I said, my family is so wonderful. When I left, my brother, my elder brother, he said that I'm going to pay for the trip, and I've been able to keep it in. I wanted to keep the expenditure to the minimum. And then anyway, he said that I'm going to pay for it, and he keeps telling me to spend more. You know, it's just so marvelous to have the type of family that I do. In fact, even recently he said, come on, you have to spend more, stay in nice places, because I tend to, stay outside and save money, and he's constantly telling me, and he's paying for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, so even my mother similarly, she gave me money, and she said, no, use it and stay in nice places, eat nice, etc. I like to, I try to be as conservative as possible. So from the budgetary point of view, I'm not paying for anything. They are paying for everything. Yeah.
Right. So, if anyone wants to have an approximate idea of it, so like how much or how many thousands in this pattern that you're traveling, how many thousands would we require per month?
Okay, so there I think that it varies from state to state. For example, when I was in Gujarat, Rajasthan, etc., I would think these are all approximate guesstimates, but it would have come to around 6 to 8,000 rupees a month. Then when I came to the north, it started increasing. Cold weather, price of food, etc. also, and I think maybe in Kashmir, Ladakh, etc., it may have been about 10,000. It changes, sometimes, yeah.
Approximately somewhere around 10-ish.
Yeah, like now 3 days I've stayed in a hostel.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference to the
Entire
so
budget.
so it's. I would say if you want to make a rough estimate, you should 10,000 should be a
Good amount. Right.
on the basis that you are not going to stay in places and that you are not going to eat out every day. You are
Right.
going to make your own food, because making your own food substantially reduces the amount of expenditure.
Right. So when we think about the journey that you have had till now, what is the biggest challenge, or can you tell us about any challenging situation that you still remember, that this came across, I faced it, and it was like, even for me it is like, oh my god, I did face that challenge. So I'm sure there would have been many, but one which you would like to tell.
Yeah, so challenges I think really arose in Ladakh in the climbing at high altitude. Especially the first high pass that I climbed was Varila, and that time I wasn't very used to climbing high passes at all. So that it was difficult. breathing was difficult, and I've even put it on Instagram. I've put videos also of myself. It was very difficult. But then I think there's that one point of thing where you see that I'm going up, irrespective of how long it takes, and that's the great part of carrying your house with you.
Right.
Yeah, you can sleep. I sleep out at night, carry on the next day. If I'm extremely slow, I'm extremely slow. I'm going to get there like a tortoise.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, but there was only one time when I was climbing Umlingla, and you have to first go up Futila and then go down and then again go up to Umlingla. And that time there was a very strange thing because I had not slept well the previous night, and I'd had a little runny tummy, and that was the one time when at the end of the first day I thought that no, I can't do this. I'm going back, and also the mind becomes a little fuzzy. It became hazy because of the altitude, etc. And that was the one time that and that is the time when again the Divine Mother just comes in. I remember I've also put that on my Instagram, where I said I can't go on. My water is getting over. I can't cook, and I'm going back. And I decided I'm just going to lie down for some time and then go back. And I lay down, and I got up, and I made something to eat on the basis that I'm going back, so I won't need the water. So I used it, and I started cycling, and I started cycling ahead instead of going back. And I said, "What is this?" And then I realized that it was she who had taken over.
Right.
And then she took me all the way up to Umlingla.
Right. So, what is your biggest learning in this journey till now?
My biggest learning probably is that surrender to the divine is is the most powerful force in the universe.
Right. Also, what is the definition of life for you? Like, what is life, or how can we live it to the fullest?
I think a life well led is a continuous aspiration to realize who you really are and to realize that you are divine.
Very beautiful. Also, what message would you like to give to everyone?
On the normal life point of view, I would say that if you get an opportunity to travel, don't miss it. Travel is the greatest teacher that you can ever have. You will not get this experience in your school, in your college, in your work, nowhere that you will get to travel. Having said that, an additional caveat which I would put is that if you are traveling, as far as possible, travel slowly. Because it's only when you travel slowly that you get to absorb your surroundings, that you get to really see cultures, that you get to meet, like you were saying, when we meet people. Now I've been here for 3 days and I've enjoyed being with all of you so much, and I have learned. You learn from everybody, but that happens when you travel slowly. So for me, point to point travel is meaningless. ये भी देखा, अभी वहाँ जाके वो देखा. You've missed the entire. The travel is the road, the journey. That's where you learn. So you miss that. So my one suggestion would be that even if you're traveling on a motorized vehicle, take time off, stop whenever you're in nature, stop, hug a tree like we did the other day. Hug a tree, feel the soil. Go, if there's a river, go and sit by the river, feel the water. See, that is really travel, according to me.
Great. So, what's the next plan? What states have you covered, and where would be the journey heading?
So I started off, and I go to one state, and then I cover the whole state. I go a lot. Like in Gujarat, I did about 4,500 kilometers only in Gujarat. Then I did another 4,000 kilometers only in Rajasthan. So that way I went from Gujarat to Rajasthan to Punjab to Western Himachal, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh, and now I'm back in Eastern Himachal.
Okay.
And I'll be here in this area for maybe a month more, Tirthan Valley, etc. And then I plan to go back to Spiti.
Okay.
Yeah, because by then Spiti will have thawed, ice will be a little less. And there's one valley in Ladakh, the Zanskar Valley, which I haven't explored completely. So, if possible, from Spiti, I'll go back to Ladakh, explore the Zanskar Valley, and then come down after the monsoon or towards the end of the monsoon to Uttarakhand, and then to the northeast.
Okay, so
That's
we can
a
expect
rough. That's a rough
idea.
Yeah, I never know. I don't know what I'm going to do the same day
Right,
also. So
right. So maybe next year we would be expecting you to be in Maharashtra, maybe. Or
not next year. Next year,
Later on?
later on. Yeah, later on. Because then I think I would go along the eastern coast and central India down to the south,
Okay.
and then come up. But I just don't.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, it is such an inspirational story, and hence I just felt that everybody should know about it, and I loved the
Thank you,
conversation,
thank
the way it flowed. Yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you,
this
thank you.
information.
It's been such a pleasure meeting you and being with all of you.
Yeah. Same here. Like 3 days were all magical.
Thank
Thanks a
you,
lot.
thank you.
Also, he has a Instagram page. You all can follow the. pedal.
Yeah, it's called Pedal Powered Traveler. PEDAL, powered, POWERED, and traveler.
Yeah. So
All one word. Yeah.
he documents his entire journey over there. He writes about it, so definitely follow him and check. You cannot be with him because he's traveling solo, but you can be with him on Instagram. So yeah, thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.